The streaming wars are over and everyone lost. But now we're seeing the rise of the super bundle. So a few months ago, I told you about Paramount Plus and the plans that Warner Brother had to really sell Max and really Paramount over with Netflix and create this super bundle. Now, that deal fell apart when basically Warner Brothers didn't buy Paramount. But now Max, in the United States at very least at first, is going into a deal with Disney. And Disney Plus, Hulu, and Max are going to be available towards the end of this year in a super bundle. We don't know what the pricing is going to be on this, but we can assume that it will be less than having all of these services separately. This is something that we have been talking about on this channel for a long time, because the insiders that we speak to have been saying this really is the way things are going to be going with the streaming services. Now, Warner Brothers couldn't do the deal with Netflix, basically because Netflix didn't like the way things were going with that. And for the moment, at least, they've seen a decent resurgence in their numbers and viewing figures. But even Netflix will eventually want to create partners. Now, that could be very interesting because Paramount Plus might soon be up for sale. As I've talked about in the previous video, Sony and Apollo, their partner, are buying or trying to buy Paramount Global. And as the days go by, it looks more and more likely that that's the way this sale is going to go. And Sony, apparently, through insiders again that speak to me, but also speak to people like Deadline, have already sort of started whispering that Sony particularly want to cut a lot of the fat away from Paramount. And that would include Paramount Plus. It is still a losing money hand over fist. It has been a very heavy weight around Paramount's finances, and Sony would just get rid of it. Now, when they get rid of it, they would still sell it, but with the sort of caveat that whoever owns it would still continue to buy Sony, CBS, etc. products. So it wouldn't sort of make much difference from a customer point of view, except we might be able to get it cheaper as part of a super bundle. Now, we're seeing this with other companies, as I've said. Disney are already starting to do this. They're going to be adding sports, etc. And there's going to be this super bundle. And the idea being that you just pick one. Rather than having to have 4 or 5 different streaming services, you just get the one you like. Amazon have been trying to do this for a while, but with a slightly different model, in that you buy Amazon Prime and then you add bolt-ons. But Amazon is where you go to watch your streaming services. This bundle with Max is, the first time we've seen sort of 2 big streaming providers starting to come together. I'm being told that actually Netflix would be more interested in buying a channel rather than having this partnership that Max was talking about. They wanted Netflix to actually take on the channel, but it would still be technically owned by Warner Brothers. Now, I'm being told that one of the reasons why that deal fell through in the end and why Max has gone with the Disney deal is because of that point. The opportunity there, though, is now for Netflix potentially to actually buy Paramount Plus and absorb it into Netflix. It would, I'm being told, potentially be a bolt-on. So it would be something that you had to pay extra for, and it would be a channel within Netflix. But it would be cheaper than having Netflix or Paramount separately. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. It really helps us out, and you'll never miss any of our new videos. Also, you can go to patreon.com/SciTrek, where most of our new videos do premiere. What could that mean for Paramount Plus moving forwards and things like Star Trek? Well, I actually think it would be a good thing, because Netflix has shown in the past that it is a big fan of Star Trek, and it has invested quite heavily. It invested in the first couple of seasons of Lower Decks, and it had Star Trek on there for years, and it was always a really good place for Star Trek to go. It always did really good numbers for Netflix. Netflix would always love to have the movies on there. Currently, particularly in the United States, the movies are on Max. I think that Netflix would look at that and go, actually, this is something we can do. We can have Paramount Plus over here. We can have it as a bolt-on, but we could also move programs between the 2 channels, sort of like helping each other out. advertising each other, if you like. But also Netflix would have no issue with Paramount producing Star Trek for other networks like it's done with Picard. And I'm actually being told that there is still a good chance that Star Trek Legacy won't actually go to Paramount Plus. It'll go to Prime and then be shown on Paramount Plus afterwards, obviously. But Prime will actually be buying that show. The only thing now, currently, that's actually delaying Star Trek Legacy is the Paramount sale, because budgets aren't really being agreed. They're only really been able to go ahead with things that were already agreed 12 months ago. So I think the Netflix deal, if Paramount Plus were to go over to Netflix, would actually help that. Because Netflix might go, actually, we'd like Star Trek Legacy. We'll pay for it. Or, and I think which is more likely, they would allow Star Trek Legacy to go over to Paramount and maybe some of the other animated stuff as well. Now, I actually hear as well that Apple would be interested in this deal because they would really, really like to expand their library. They've been trying to buy another studio for quite some time. They really pushed to buy MGM, for example, before Amazon just came in with stupid money and bought it. I actually think Apple would jump at this opportunity if they can. And from what I hear, and again, the way it works in America, I think it would fit in with their model over there. Not how it works here, but it would fit in that model. I'm being told that I'm not being told that there's any particular interest there. I'm speculating on this, but I actually think that would be a deal that would make sense for Apple, because it would basically expand their library of products, movies, TV shows, etc., without actually having to fork out billions of dollars to buy a studio. I still think buying Paramount Plus will cost a significant investment, an investment that actually Sony and Apollo would be very happy to receive, because they're forking out a lot of money buying Paramount Global if the deal goes ahead. So they're going to want to recoup some of those costs. And there would be some sort of deal between Apple or Netflix, as I said, to produce material for that. But it's a cheap way sort of thing to expand your library massively. Same thing for Netflix. Which way do I think this will go? I actually think it'll probably go over to Netflix, but it really depends on who the new owners are. But from what I'm being told, Netflix are interested in a deal like that. It will be interesting to see how this thing's spread out. And I actually think over the next few years, we're going to see basically 3 super bundles. And it'll be the Disney super bundle, the Netflix super bundle, and the Amazon super bundle. And the other channels will slowly merge into those 3 sectors. Which model we then see, either the Amazon model or the Disney model in the long term, is going to be interesting, because the Disney model will basically be you pay this price for all 3, and the Amazon deal is you have to individually pick which ones you want. But guys, is this an interesting proposition? The rise of the super bundle? Or is it something that you think, oh God, I pay enough for this crap as it is. I really don't need to pay any more. It is a way to get more content for less money. They need to get rid of the adverts, though. The adverts on Amazon are actually starting to piss me off. Now, they properly start to annoy me. Anyway, get into the comments, tell me exactly what you think. As always, please stay safe, and I'll catch you next time.